It's now my privilege to introduce the senior who has been chosen by his peers to offer this year's valedictory address. Unlike other schools, Brophy does not select its valedictorian solely according to grade point average. Rather, the senior class selects the valedictorian based on whom they want to represent and address their class at this morning's commencement. The following are among some of the comments offered by classmates in their nominations of this year's valedictorian. He exemplifies what it means to be a man for others, and he does it with humility and integrity. I'm incredibly proud to call him my friend as he makes all the people around him a better person. He is one of the kindest, smartest, and loving people Brophy has to offer. He epitomizes Brophy both intellectually and culturally, and is one of the best people I know. Please join me in welcoming the valedictorian of the class of 2017, Alexander Magna Bhatt.
Good morning. Again, welcome to Brophy's 69th commencement ceremony. Mrs. Sue Hornbeck once taught me that the only way to welcome people that you love into your heart is through gratitude. So let's do just that. To the faculty and staff, thank you for your love, trust, and guidance over the course of the last 4 years. Each and every one of you has impacted each and every one of us to be more capable, confident, and able to approach the world in and out of the classroom. Specifically, thank you to Mrs. Dorothy Dunnion, Mr. Tom Succo, and Deacon Joe Stickney, who will be retiring this year. You are three irreplaceable people on campus who together have served the Brophy community for over a century. Whether it was through leading us in athletics, theater, or spiritual formation, you all truly left an indelible mark on the school and transformed thousands of lives. To the Office of Faith and Justice, thank you for providing a home for students to find and develop their faith, and for testing that same faith with the sheer number of emails sent out by Mr. Paul Fisco every other day. Thanks, Mr. Fisco. Thank you to those who could not make it today, but who have been with us through it all. Family, friends, or maybe, if your name is Anthony Cardellini, your appendix. Some backstory. Anthony decided that along with serving as editor-in-chief of 2 publications on campus and being enrolled in almost all AP classes, that he might as well end the year with an appendectomy and a subsequent bacterial infection. But after reading this year's Blam and final issue of the Roundup, it was clear that though he scared some of his closest friends to death for a week and a half, no appendix was no problem. Thank you to the closest friends who have been with me through it all. Whether you call yourselves the Frisbee Boys, M Squad, the Autobots, or just members of the class of 2017 in general, you all are everything to me. A few weeks ago, salutatorian Brendan Berg addressed the student body about the journey that was Brophy. Brendan, I am so thankful to have shared this stage and experience with you, and thank you for being a leader that I look up to every day. To the moms in the audience, thank you for always being there. You were there when we were born, and your kindness, fortitude, and compassion will always remain with us wherever we choose to leave our mark. To my own mom, who, as a single mother, was the driving force for me to even fill out an application to Brophy. Mom, you have gone through it all, and I owe all I have to your resilience and endless love towards me. Thank you for being you. To the people that have acted as moms and dads in my life, Pratibha Auntie, Atal Uncle, and Tauji, my uncle who flew in from California last night, thank you for always wanting the best for me and my family. To my father, who, for the short time he was in my life, was the hardest working man I ever got to know. Thank you for always inspiring me to grow in all aspects of life, and your values of humility and positivity will stay with me until we meet again. To the dads in the audience, well, let me clarify. To the fathers in the audience, thank you. You taught us to encounter new things, people, and ideas that may have challenged us, but that were essential in making us stronger men. In fact, you inspired some of us to be dads. Let me explain. If there's one thing that made the class of 2017 unique from all other years, it is the inception of the student-led Dads Club. With the motto, "Dads but not fathers," a group of seniors traveled from event to event with their grills and spooners, blasting Billy Joel, throwing brats and burgers on the grill, and just showing the world what it means to be a hardworking, over-the-hill dad living the dream. But I digress. I'll be honest, as a kid who had somewhat of a stutter in middle school and a lifelong fear of public speaking, I was pretty shocked when I heard you guys chose me to address you today. It also did not help when people I love and respect told me things like, quote, "You better give me a shout out." So shout out again, Mom. And this one's good. Quote, "Live it up now and don't sweat it. You'll be a nobody again soon enough." Thanks for that one, Mr. Welty. But with that said, there is no other class with which I would rather graduate. Brophy literally built another gym because it could not house the amount of people that wanted to be here today. With 326 students, we are one of the largest classes ever to graduate from Brophy, and may that be a testament to both our 4 years of good behavior and our amazing hard work. The fact that the class of 2017 was so large that the Harry T. Olivier Athletic Complex is currently being used to view the ceremony is very cool in concept, but it makes this address all the more terrifying given the fact that I cannot see all of you. But even when you do see something, are you really appreciating its beauty? Look around. Do you see these amazing banners? It's truly remarkable, but there's one that looks like the others, but is inherently different from all the rest. And I'm pointing at it right now. That would be the one in the back that says, "We are the 2017 Bobsled State Champions." Yes, that probably does not make sense to anyone that's clapping, including me. And if you're in the Dutch, I assure you there is a banner. But the main point is, we are now seeing something that we never saw before, nor that we paid attention to. There is so much around us to see, and sometimes, especially at Brophy, it may be difficult to take in all of it. For example, if you are not a senior, these last few weeks may have been confusing to you. Why was Alex Steinhuber dragging around a wagon with a huge speaker last week? Why did the entire class of 17 barricade Brophy Hall and Freeman's Arch in solidarity? Or what was Brochella, and why did it disappear without a trace? Amidst all of the confusion, I found some clarity 2 weeks ago on Beach Day. As I ran away from the man, the myth, the legend, Father Juan Pablo del Toro, who, fueled by the Holy Spirit, tried to absolve everyone's sins with his super soaker, I had a pretty simple thought.
It was holy water.
Holy water. That's what it was. I had a pretty simple thought. I realized that I could not have seen all of this, or any of you guys, or any of Brophy, without my contacts. You guys may have voted me up here, but when I think of Brophy, I don't think of a large, uncoordinated man with the eyesight of a bat. I think of you guys. Academically, with their intellectual ferocity and knowledge of the world, Will Alpert or Carter Cleland could have given a more valuable and well-rounded talk. In terms of pure eloquence, I would listen to anything Holden Gordon would ever tell me. And I would want max fees up here just so I could count the amount of times he drops in a Bronco-related phrase like stampede or horsepower or hooves for hands. I literally have a list, but I digress. Physically, Rex Tessler and Noah Pittinger's biceps could literally bring the house down. And if you think this speech is too slow, I'm sure runners like Jose Alanda, Luke Mason, or Cole Yandel possess more than enough speed to spare. And then there's the grad at grad. No one I know is more open to growth than two driven business visionaries like Rohit Krishnamurthy and Carter McKeon. Loving, look no further than Justage Sra, Nikhil Paul, Anmal Chahal, and Arpan Sharma. People who have been by my side since preschool and elementary school, and that carry themselves with the greatest humility and affection for others. I see young men like Matthew Holmes, Sean Even, and Daniel Bonner, who are faithful both in their convictions and especially in their friendships to others. In conversations with intellectuals like Ian Gray and Jack Venberg, I always know I will walk away a smarter and more informed person. And finally, when it comes to fully committing oneself to justice, just watching men like Brandon Theodoro and Alvaro Marcelino Hernandez lead by their altruistic example makes me want to be a better person every day. But again, you chose me, and I would like to take the next few minutes to talk about my beloved contact lenses. My contacts are essential to see the most basic things, like all of you in front of me, or this speech. However, they can also be a pain. They get dirty, distorted, damaged. And at that point, it is up to me to make a change. When something obstructs your view, don't look away, just pay attention. Clarifying the lens by which we see the world will lead us to places we have never gone before. My lenses change prescription, and if I so chose, I could have skipped the eye checkups, the Kairos and Magis retreats, the immersion trips, the life-changing exchanges we may have had over lunch. All of these moments to grow were there and always will be there, so long as we keep sharpening our vision. Life coach Willie Gerkensmeyer summed it up best when he said, quote, "The biggest thing that Brophy gives is people. Having so many different people from different backgrounds creates opportunities and opens doors some people can't even fathom," end quote. There's a saying that iron sharpens iron, and as valuable as that is, if you keep looking exclusively for the iron, you're going to miss out on some pretty great diamonds in the crowd. Keep your lenses on and look past the iron to find the diamonds. Diamonds are both valuable and difficult to replicate. Diamonds are sharp, almost as sharp as Max Bazile's satirical wit, or as sharp as Dylan Blanc and Langdon Druitt's attire every late start look good. Each facet of a diamond tells a different story, and to really understand that story, we need to look with keen eyes. See, observe, and embrace the diamonds that you come across. Encounters with diamonds will change the prescription of your contacts and will change your lives. What we think, where we find hope, and how we respond to life's greatest challenges are products of where and how we invest our love. And it all starts at just staying open and looking around. Some things are easier to see than others. You may not need contacts to see that Juan Carlos Lopez drinks enough Dutch Brothers coffee to kill a small horse, or that Grant Hushick and Jack Blake and David Brown can transform any moment into one full of laughter and joy. But there are some things I have missed. For example, I have known Amit Sayal for 14 years, but only really started spending time with him in high school and learned how compassionate and selfless he was through organizations like Key Club and the Red and White Club. Great opportunities like these to both learn about others and improve ourselves naturally arise when we just wear our lenses properly. You may have thought that you were just going to see a volleyball match to witness Tommy the Big Cat McGrath and Matt Tree Man Warner put up some of the best numbers in the state. But you would have never expected the amazing dance performances between every point by Ryan Meza and Jordan Briggs on and off the court. You may have thought that you were just going to the front lawn at lunch to study, but would be surprised that almost every day there was a different event. Whether it was Chris Romine feeding Grayson Beck on a deep route, or Joe Ducey and Matt Clausen playing an intense game of football, there was always so much going on. You might have thought that you were just getting extra credit on an assignment by going to a Brophy play, but instead you were blown away by amazing performances given by thespians like Derby Reeves and Spencer Coben and Daniel Weinberger, month after month. You may have thought that you're going to the Quidditch State Championship to see Nick Vicino, Andrew Howard, and Anthony Tucker run around throwing balls at people with a PVC pipe held tightly between their legs. Well, that's exactly what you would have seen. And as hilarious as I felt it was, I can't give them too hard of a time considering they did bring home a state championship. Finally, you may have thought that after the departure of Father Reese, Brophy would just have hired another very qualified priest to take the reins over 1,300 Broncos. But in reality, what we saw was one of the strongest and most kind-hearted individuals take the helm in Miss Adria Ranke, the first female president in Brophy's 89-year history. Thank you, Ms. Ranke, for leading us with care and confidence. The future of Brophy could not look more bright. Here's something. Compton-born poet Kendrick Lamar says, "Kids don't see hate in their eyes. They see the world, and living in it to the best of their abilities. And that's where love comes from for me." End quote. If you keep the windows of your soul open enough, you will be surprised at the conversations you may have with people who would have otherwise never have been in your life. I remember asking for help from Mr. Aston all of sophomore and junior year, and though I passed the class, I absorbed just as much about philosophy and tactics on how to approach life's most difficult problems as I did about calculus. I remember taking Mr. Damaso's English class for 2 years, and though I have learned Membean and the mechanics of grammar, I am grateful to have learned why people write and what conscientiously written literature can do for a community. I remember that over the last 4 years, Mrs. Woodbin, Mr. Ryan, and Miss Parise were always there for me and anyone else who maybe was going through a rough patch in their life or just needed a hug. Conversation is the ultimate therapy, but before we can speak, we need to see. Keep searching, and you will find flaws, follies, failures, all prepared to be fixed by you. Keep searching, and you'll find love and joy and happiness, all awaiting you so you can pass them on to others. A great editor-in-chief once wrote that we should, quote, "seek the stories that make this school great. Seek the stories that make this country great." But in seeking, I hope we find a more open and honest way to look at others and ourselves, to not only just seek the stories, but also create them. And if you think you have 20/20 vision, which physically many of you very well may, think of what you're really saying. Think of what the class of 2017 and our parents heard last night as we heard Jesus' words. Quote, "No one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends." That is 20/20 vision. That is how we see. Whether next year you will be in Tempe, Tucson, Omaha, or Spokane, go into the place or the places where it may be difficult to see. Make the citizens of the world your friends. Carry your flame, the part of you that ignites the best in others, and just wear your contacts. Once you can finally see the world, just do what the class of 2017, the outstanding class of 2017, does best, and what we were told to do the first day we stepped foot on campus, and be the light. Congratulations again to the class of 2017. Thank you for this opportunity, and God bless.